risk management, governance, culture, and lot of other areas of organization, regardless of size or legal structure of organization. And you will agree with me that currently we are really doing much more than where we were or how we started the evolution. So the internal auditing profession is still evolving, and this is because the profession continues to add value and relevance in helping organizations to achieve objectives beyond the conventional attestation to financial accuracy or accounting records that it used to be. And based on this evolution, we are now moving forward to better service delivery to every stakeholders in our organization. Another thing that we also need to understand here is that accounting and finance are now aspects of internal auditing's purview. We are not majorly working on accounting and finance. Even if you look at the current North American post report by the IIA Global, you discover that internal auditing work related to accounting and finance, including internal control related to financial reporting, are about 23 to 25% of everything. So we should understand that even the accounting that has to do with day-to-day flow of money in and out of an organization, and the finance, which is more broader, and it has to do with management of assets and liabilities and planning for future growth. What we are saying here is that we have moved beyond this. This is now just part of what we do. So currently, many internal auditors are still practicing the ancient of internal auditing. Yeah, I mean the ancient forms or the ancient aspect of internal auditing. I'm talking about verification, certification, confirmation, and authorization of transaction and comparison of records. These were the things, the few things that we used to do in the past. Now, we need to understand that the profession has moved and we have to move to the next level. So, this is another quote that I would like us to also have in mind. A generation which ignores history has no past and no future. And those things that I discussed earlier were just for us to understand our past, and we can be able to appreciate where the profession is moving now. So, based on the evolution of internal auditing and current organization demands for modern internal audit services, we can look at it in the sense that we are evolving and moving forward or progressing as a result of the dynamic business environment and risk that is that organizations are confronting today. Therefore, talking about the basics of modern internal auditing, the modern internal auditors focus on entities and their stakeholders. And this has to do with the focus is about how these entities and the stakeholders achieve strategic, operational, reporting, and compliance objectives. Our profession is now focusing on working on behalf of the organization's management, board of directors, and other stakeholders to improve and add value to governance, risk management, and control processes through what we call objective assurance and insight for making current and future-oriented decisions. Now, that will take us back to the value proposition for internal auditing, although that is not part of today's discussion, but we just need to go back to understand what we are doing or what we should be doing as of today. Now, since internal audits have a broad focus, it is clear that internal auditors' ability to audit various aspects of entities will also be broad. And in practice, we can audit anything, provided that we possess or obtain the necessary skills, knowledge, and other competencies needed to perform the audit or perform our responsibilities. What I'm going to say here is that what I deal with in practice is developing the knowledge, skills, and other competencies needed to achieve our responsibilities in different entities that we work. And the ever-dynamic business environments and the risk landscape will require that as internal audit professionals and as a department, we need to ensure that our departments are resourced with professionals from different backgrounds, and there should be appropriate mix of knowledge, skills, and other competencies that is needed to fulfill the risk-based internal audit strategies and plans that we are now calling the modern aspect of internal auditing. Now, we can also look at another aspect which is related to technology-based audit techniques. And we cannot overemphasize this in modern internal auditing. Although we conduct verifications or examinations to a reasonable extent, the use of technology from audit management to examination and analysis of evidence and data from different areas of organization sources will also be very important to our basic practice of internal auditing. Some people don't believe in technology as internal auditors, but it is basic of internal auditing to use technology to help us to achieve our audit plans or objectives. Many entry doors into the profession and many misses. Yeah. Now, I'm thinking we must have seen the IIA's All in a Day's Work publication. It's a very long time publication that can also help us to understand more about the professional practice of internal auditing at the basic level. So modern day internal auditors can come from different backgrounds or professional backgrounds or academic backgrounds. It can be from accounting, finance, science, business management, operations, engineering, information technology, and more. So it is not new to see internal auditors who are analysts, who are internal control experts, who are compliance experts, who are enterprise management experts, who are fraud examiners, who are business consultants, who are business partners, who are financial and accounting experts and advisors, scientists, engineers, explorers, reporters, problem solvers, and many. It means that there are many entry doors to join the internal audit profession for good reasons. And that's due to the broad nature of internal audit work. However, in practice, I mean globally, there are few universal programs or requirements to ensure that regardless of your professional background or academic background, that is your entry discipline or profession, you must learn or assess to have learned the professional practice of internal auditing from A to Z. So what happens in practice is that many internal audit professionals miss the basis of internal auditing profession at the entry. For example, as an IT expert, when you join an internal audit function, it could mean that your technical skills in information technology will be useful in IT auditing and maybe IT application controls. But over time, you will continue to improve your competency in that specific areas of audit without any need to learn internal audit from A to Z. But we call ourselves internal auditors and professional internal auditors. So just like any other profession or academic background, we can grow in the profession, I mean internal auditing profession, without understanding what the profession is and what it is not. And there will be high tendency or propensity to prioritize training, certifications, or qualifications that are related to our entry backgrounds. I'm telling you, this happens a lot in internal auditing. The basis of internal auditing are very relevant in everything we do as professional internal auditors. And you cannot leave them behind while we focus on other matters, especially based on how we enter the profession. The basis of the internal auditing are the foundation of our professional practice. Although in practice, most training and development programs are focusing on maybe, let's say, current shifts and trends such as data analytics, data mining, culture audits, blockchain, ESG, cybersecurity, cybersecurity and cyber audit, agile audit. We must not forget the basics, and we must not leave them behind. They are very important to where we are and where we are moving. As the profession is moving, we can only build our knowledge, competency, and skills on the basics of saying that we are professional internal auditors. Also, one of the reasons why these basics are missing is because there are few undergraduate courses globally or in colleges, in universities that is specializing on helping students to become internal auditors when they are through on their program. You know, most of us, it is after we are through from colleges, universities that we decide, or maybe we're promoted or transferred into the internal audit profession. We still need to ensure that everybody learn the profession and we can grow with the profession and involve with it based on the foundations that have been established over time. Now, many entry doors into the profession and many misses. Okay, in this diagram, these doors represent various academic and professional backgrounds or orientations through which internal auditors are admitted into the profession. And I believe the doors are more than these few in practice because the profession is still evolving. The required internal audit competencies are also here, disorganized most times at the point of entry. On the other hand, we have a lot of internal auditing knowledge areas, disorganized here. Regardless of current competency level, it is unlikely that the majority of internal auditors started the profession with all of this in a coordinated or organized manner. So this is disorganized and this is also disorganized. Maybe over time, we will have learned all of this, but most times we do not learn them at the point of entry into the profession, and that really creates a lot of gap in the practice of internal auditing globally. We can talk about a lot of things here. We'll see them when we look at the IIA's competency framework. Regardless of whatever you think internal audit is currently, what I'm going to say here that everything here, between here and here, you can take them to the evolution that we spoke about. Accounting oriented, management oriented, operations, finance oriented, and so on. So you can relate all of this entry, the doors and the knowledge to what people might have learned or missed in the beginning. That doesn't still make us proficient internal auditors as an individual if we miss the basics. Now, it is very important also to use this opportunity to talk about the purpose, nature, and scope of internal auditing. The CIAs in our midst or the CIA candidates in our midst will likely understand this. However, it is also very important for me to establish this for everyone, and we always reestablish it so that we can take something out of this discussion. Then all of us can reconsider where we are in the profession. The IIA's definition of internal auditing is globally accepted, and it is one of the important components of the Institute of Internal Auditors International Professional Practices Framework, which we call IPPF. Although, the IPPF is currently evolving, that is under review. The significance of the definition of internal auditing regarding the purpose, nature, and scope of the internal audit profession cannot be exaggerated. I know the definition of internal auditing is not changing. So, the definition of internal auditing is one of the important basics that must be understood at the point of entry the profession. I had a TV interview yesterday, and somebody defined internal auditing for me. I just have to correct aspect of the definition because the definition limited internal auditing to finance and accounting. So many practicing internal auditors miss the opportunity to learn the professional practice of internal auditing through the IIA's definition of internal auditing at the point of entry. If you didn't learn it, you need to print, copy and paste it and put it in front of your desk every day, and it will tell you the purpose, the nature, and the scope of internal auditing. According to the IIA's definition of internal auditing, the IIA says that internal auditing is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. It continues by saying it helps an organization accomplish its objective by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, governance, and control processes. This definition that I just recited is a concise statement of the role of internal audit function in an entity. This definition tells us or states the fundamental purpose, nature, and scope of internal auditing. For example, we can say the purpose of a company XYZ's internal audit department is to provide independent, objective assurance and advisory services that add value and improve an organization, the company XYZ's operations by evaluating and supporting the effectiveness of enterprise risk management, internal control, compliance, and governance programs and processes within the entity. So another thing that we also need to understand is that talking about the nature of the company, what the nature of internal auditing, what do we do? It is to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of GRC, the sales control according to the IIA. So finally, based on the disjointed competency areas for internal audit or internal auditors that we discussed during the entry doors and the misses in the previous slides, to be a professional internal auditor, one should understand the internal audit functions within the organization. I mean, we should understand the purpose, the nature, the scope of internal auditing, including the responsibilities, including the expectations from stakeholders within our organization. And an important or a good way to understand this is to ensure that these are contained in the internal audit charter. What I'm saying here is that whatsoever we are doing, we must go back to the basis of that definition to ensure that in our organization, our charter focuses on the nature, scope, responsibilities, deliverables, and expectations for the internal audit function embedded in the charter of that organization's internal audit department. So you can, when we move to the next slide, we will talk about how misinformation has really done bad on the profession, because most of us, when we need information, we go to Google, but most of the information on Google may not be correct as it relates to internal auditing. Pages of internal auditing missing. There was a time Algarin called our attention to, Algarin is one of the thought leaders in the professional practice of internal auditing globally, called our attention on LinkedIn to an article on Forbes.com. And in that article, somebody said, an internal auditor works for only one company or organization. They are responsible for ensuring that the company follows all tax laws and industry regulations. And this person continued, auditors who works for one organization take on additional responsibilities such as overseeing tax return and financial statement preparation, financial analysis and reporting, and updating accounting procedure. Internal auditors are valuable assets because they can help companies reduce risk and become more efficient over time. When we saw this, people started commenting on it. Not everything here is correct about the nature, the purpose, the scope, and the responsibilities of internal auditors. However, most of us, because Google and other search engines are very useful for our practice, what we do is to go there to look for information, and whatever information we get, fine, it's fine by us. It's one of the reasons why we need to learn internal auditing, so that even when you search for something or you read a book, you will know what is not for internal auditors. Don't be surprised that the number of professionals, including our stakeholders, such as senior management and the board of directors, with the same opinion like this, are in their millions. I mean, in the millions. People would think this is what internal auditing is. So it is very important for every one of us to recognize the reason why we need to learn internal auditing as a distinct profession, as a unique profession, so that all the confusion and the misinformation online will not hinder our progress or our evolution with the current practice of internal auditing. Like I said, many people didn't choose the current IPPF that is under review, but we are moving into another IPPF very soon. So we all need to learn internal auditing, just like the medical doctor will go to the medical schools to learn the basics, then begin to be to specialize in other aspects of medical sciences. Now, let's see another aspect of the basics that is also very important. The current pass rate for CIA Part 1, which is on essentials of internal auditing, as at 2022, is 45%. If you look at 2021, you agree with me that things are getting better now. And if you look at the CIA Part 2 and CIA Part 3, you will discover some improvements. And if you look at this, note that this is the highest in at least 5 years. 41% for all the pass rates. The average pass rate here that you can find in 2021 is 48% while in 2022 we have about 49 point something It's still an improvement, but what you discover is that are we not professional internal auditors that the average pass rate is low? Although there are so many reasons, however, the basics cannot be taken out of the reasons. Learning the basics or understanding the basics cannot be taken out of the reasons why the pass rate has always been low year on year. So the CIA part 1, there was a time, before I move on, there was a time when we used to have everything together. IIA started releasing by parts recently, but there was a time, look at this, 2016 to 2020, only 41.6% passed the CIA. But now we have discovered that, okay, we have 48% in 2022. Now we have 49% in 2020. 2022 is 48%, while 2022 is 49%, while 2021 is 48%. Now, if you look at this say part 1, why are we failing? Please, if you are not speaking, you will need to mute your microphone. Please mute your microphone. Okay. Why are candidates failing? CIA part 1, which we call essentials of internal auditing. Why is the rate this low? My guess is always that the practicing internal auditors or the current internal auditors are still learning new things through the CI certification programs. Yeah. And the things they are just learning because they want to pass the exam should have been part of their practice before. Yes, some of the things should have been fundamental part of their practice on a daily basis. Why are we just learning it because we want to pass CIA? And at the end, people still fail. Because most people taking CIA exams, you will agree with me that they are internal auditors. What I will tell you now is that practicing internal auditors don't understand that internal auditing is a specialized niche, is a specialized field. They don't understand that the approach of modern internal auditing is different from that of external auditing or conventional internal auditing that is based on accounting or internal control. Yeah, we still believe, is it not CIA exam? Is it not about internal auditing? I'm going to take it. No. We have a gap that we must bridge because most of us didn't learn internal auditing from the basics. Although we have 20 years, 50 years, 30 years in the professional practice of internal auditing. So among the 48.4% of candidates who failed the CIA exam between 2016 and 2021, you will find qualified professionals from different academic or professional backgrounds with certifications in their chosen fields, still failing the internal auditing. And another assumption that I always make is that these professionals are the best in their first chosen profession. Yeah, they are the best because they are certified or they are chartered there, but they fail to solidify or establish their position in the professional practice of internal auditing, the niche field of internal auditing, which they practice on a daily basis when they joined. And the majority of the basics of internal auditing are found in the CI Part 1 syllabus, which is essentials of internal auditing. Majority of the basics are there. Regardless of any initial academic or professional background, internal auditors should develop the required knowledge, skills, and other competencies by learning the profession from the basics, which is essentials of internal auditing, while they aspire to acquire certification in the same internal auditing field. You cannot be an internal auditor and still want to promote other field, learn the internal audit field and get certified in the internal audit field that you are practicing. Let's move on. Now, let's look at the other aspect of this discussion and assess internal auditing competency level, competency assessment based on the IIA audit competency. I just want to take us through the IIA's competency framework and see some of the competency areas and the knowledge areas that are important for internal auditors, so that some of us, we can go back and think about assessing ourselves on what we already know and what we still need to learn more. Now, just like we saw in the previous session where we have the entry doors and the disjointed knowledge areas for internal auditors, this is another disorganized competency area of internal auditing. It is just as we have it at the point of entry of internal audit profession, and it could be more disjointed than this. There are possibilities that internal auditors acquire knowledge of different competency areas. These are the competency areas. We may have come across some of these knowledge areas under each of the competency areas. Competency required to plan and perform internal audit engagement and things like that. However, we may not have acquired this knowledge, skills, and related competency in an organized and coordinated way, which, according to the definition of internal, disciplined way of learning the profession, moving from the basics to the complex. Now, let's see how it should be. The IIA's internal audit competency framework has 4 competency areas, and each of the competency areas have different knowledge areas. The 4 competency areas are professionalism, performance, environment, leadership, and communication. Now, we can talk about each of these competency areas one after the other. I'm just going to lay emphasis on some important aspects of the competencies areas and related knowledge areas that we need to understand. If you look at the professionalism competency area, it says competencies required to demonstrate the authority, credibility, and ethical conduct essential for a valuable internal audit activity. And if you look at that, this competent professionalism, what will you find here? This is where mission of internal auditing is. This is where internal audit charter is. This is where organizational independence, individual objectivity, ethical behavior, due professional care, professional development is. So, if you assess yourself and you think you need to know more about this area of competency as the basic of internal audit professionalism, you may need to learn them separately. It doesn't have to be when we want to take CIA exam that we are learning internal auditing. No, we can learn them separately. And if you look at the performance area, competencies required to plan and perform internal audit engagements in conformance with the standards. When you look at this, I will have to establish the fact that this is actually associated with planning, conducting, and delivering internal audit engagements according to the IIA standards. And that is the reason why you will discover that there is an improvement between CI Part 1 and CI Part 2. So once candidates are able to pass CI Part 1, most people, maybe in my opinion, they already had understanding on planning, conducting, and delivering internal audit engagement. So maybe they already have exposure on how to do those things. So there's an improvement in the pass rate. So this is an area whereby every internal auditors need to assess if you are really equipped with the skills, knowledge, and competencies under this competency area. I'm talking about learning, organizational governance, fraud risk, internal control, engagement planning, things like that. Then you look at the environmental area. The environment area, I mean, we are talking about competencies required to identify and address the risks specific to the industry and environment in which the organization operates. We will need to learn internal audit basics in this aspect. This is a competency area that involves risk management of identifying and understanding specific risk within the industry and the location that the organization operates its business. This is where we talk about strategic planning, management, performance measures, organizational behavior, things like that. There are some basics here that every internal auditors must learn in practice, including, now we talk about ESG. I always tell internal auditors that what's new about ESG. We G, governance, S, social, and there was a time we have been talking about social, corporate social responsibility, governance, and things like that. The only thing that is most likely something that is new now is the E. Instead of before now, the common initiative of governance has been economic, social, and environmental. Now we have added some things, some new perspectives. Regulatory requirements makes them popular. However, some of the things here are the things that we should have learned in practice, including sustainability, including IT, including business processes. Some of us already understand some of these things. However, not every one of us. And finally, when you look at the other aspects, the leadership and communication competency required to provide strategic direction, communicate effectively, maintain relationships, and manage internal audits. This is more of CIA Part 2 and CIA Part 3. This area includes developing and managing the internal audit function, persuading and motivating people, communicating with people with impact, and things like that. There are some basic things inside the knowledge areas of this competency area that every one of us must learn as internal auditors. Reporting, soft skills, innovation, communication, advocacy, they are the basics of this knowledge area that every one of us must use in practice. So now we have a job to do. You can assess someone to have general awareness, applied knowledge, or expert based on this competency level by IIA. So it depends. However, if you have achieved this, it means that you must have achieved this. If you say you have achieved this, it means that you must have achieved this. So for general awareness, you are talking about staff or entry-level personnel within the internal audit department, applied knowledge, the management, now this management team, the mid-level personnel within the internal audit department, the experts, you're talking about the executive, the senior level in the internal audit department. So we need to assess ourselves based on the competency framework to understand the basics that we have missed while we join the profession. And in conclusion, the Internal Audit Foundation Premier Global Research Study 2021, which is on assessing internal audit competency, minding the gaps to maximize insight. I've been saying lot of gaps is the reason why I chose to stay on the fundamentals of internal auditing. And this study was done with in collaboration with Deloitte. I mentioned some knowledge areas within the professionalism competency area of the IIA's Global Internal Audit Competency Framework. I spoke about the mission of internal auditing, internal audit charter, organizational independence, individual objectivity, ethical behavior, due professional care, and professional development. These 7 knowledge areas are rated 4 out of 5 on an average. It means that everyone who participated in that study believed that these knowledge areas are very important as the foundation of internal audit professionalism. The 7 knowledge areas are the basic of internal audit professionalism. However, it is very important for us to conduct periodic skills assessment of the internal audit function so that we can understand the gap or what is missing. We, as an individual, we can use the competency assessment tools to perform a self-assessment to know which basic is missing, regardless of how many years that we have spent in the professional practice of internal auditing. The seven knowledge areas that I'm talking about are about 48% of the CIA Part 1 syllabus on essentials of internal auditing. The candidate pass rate for 2022 is 45% globally. These 7 things is about 48% of the whole thing that internal auditors should learn in the CIA Part 1 syllabus. And why are we failing if the basics are not missing? 55% of people failed the CIA Part 1, and 48% of that syllabus is on these 7 aspects of the professionalism area of internal auditing. And if you go to LinkedIn, LinkedIn found that 57% of business leaders say basic professional skills are more important than hard skills. And this is evident in the CIA Part 1 pass rate in 2022. Yes, candidates' level of professionalism in internal auditing was tested, and 55% of them failed. Yes. So we need to help internal auditors to be proficient, at least at the basics of the professional practice of internal auditing, in order to foster the development of the required competencies that will help them to meet their individual career objectives, while we also help them to improve the achievement of better productivity, improve operations, strategies, and objectives. So I think, in my opinion, we have many reasons to help us, to help internal auditors to focus on developing the foundation of internal auditing that will help them to perform better in the future, now and in the future. So I thank you very much for being here and listening to me in the last 50 plus minutes. I'm really happy that I spoke with you guys, and I'll be happy to attend to questions and also be able to discuss some of the points that I spoke about in this presentation. Thank you very much. My name is Alaba Awolaja.
Thank you very much, Mr. Awolaja. It's been a very great presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for questions. If you have a question, you mention your name, country, and our resource person is ready to answer. I'm looking up to hands raised. Since I don't have a list, anyone who has a question can just mention your name and ask the question.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I can come first. My name is Thompson Nosore from Zimbabwe. Mine is a simple one. Just want to find out that our pass rate is not pleasing as we would want it to be. What advice can he give so that we can improve on the pass rates?
Okay, so we'll take 2 more questions.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
My name is Anastasia Manyauvu.
Good.
Yes.
From Ghana.
From Ghana, yes, from Ghana, Accra. Thank you for the presentation, Alaja. My concern is not just with the pass rate of CIA. As someone who is a trainer, but I want to find out, having seen the gap as the basics absent in our internal, what can institutes do to build that capacity in internal auditors in the various countries, or help members, at least if not all internal auditors, help members upgrade themselves in the basics of internal audit? Thank you.
Any question? Okay, so Ms. Awolaja, you can take the first 2 as we expect other questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. The first question is how to improve the pass rate. I'm going to say we should first understand the fact that the IIA CIA examination has a very low barrier in terms of requirements for taking the exam. So that also affects who takes the exam, because anybody can take the exam based on the requirement, and later after 2 years or so of practice, you can now get the certification. Although that is not in all cases, what we can do now is to improve the pass rate. Everybody should be given to learning internal auditing without saying you want to take CIA. As a CAE, I believe I have a responsibility, even if my budget is low, to take my my audit staff on the basis of the internal audit profession. Because one of the problems that we have is that when people join, we do not take them through the basics. So the first thing we must do is to ensure that we learn these basics, for example, the professionalism basics, without having in mind that we want to take a CIA exam. That, okay, as a practice, every one of us understand what is expected of us in terms of internal audit charter, in terms of internal audit, the mission of internal auditing, in terms of organizational independence. Some people don't understand the independence of external auditors and their impairment related to external auditors and internal auditors. So we need to take ourselves through the learning of those basics without having saying that we are learning because we want to take CIA exam. No, you don't have to wait to take a CIA exam to learn and practice the basics of the profession. Assess yourself, know what is missing, then move on one by one on those basics. Train your audit staff on those basics. So the only thing that we can do is to learn more. Let us first accept that internal audit profession is a niche, is a different profession that everybody must learn how it works, just like the medical doctors. We should have that, we should take away that mentality that once I'm a control officer, internal control officer, or once I'm a chartered accountant, I'm an internal, once I'm an accountant. No, we need to take it as a different and unique profession and learn it that way. Thank you very much. I hope that works. Then the other one is, how can the institute, I mean, I think it's the IIA, help members to develop these basics. One of the things that we recommend is that IIA institute, maybe AFIIA, should start with a very, let me say, economical training on topics by topics, not having essentials of internal auditing as a topic. Let's take them one by one. It don't have to be, it doesn't have to be $10 US, 20 US dollars, or whatever it is. Let it be very with minimal cost. Let people be able to learn internal auditing. Since AFIIA as a continental platform, we should be looking at helping our professionals, our members, to learn internal auditing by the basics, using without having to spend much. You know, one of my challenges in internal auditing is our low budget. So there are a lot of low budgets in the internal audit department around Africa, and I don't know about Europe or America, but we should come down to the level of Africa and give our members, our professionals, low budget internal audit training on the basics. They don't have to be preparing for CIA before we teach them or we train them on internal auditing. Let's take them based on the competency frameworks that is available to us by the IIA Global. Let's focus on establishing the basics with low budget or low cost training. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Now I pick comments from the chat box and questions. The first one, which is a comment, but also looks like a question, is that we have a lot of awareness sessions to do as internal auditors to demystify some of these misconceptions. The challenge is that some board members, even those on the audit committee, need some education. So we want to find out from you how we can do that education and if it's necessary. Then the second question, that's from Zolani Mabuya from South Africa. In your own experience, do you think the internal auditing definition needs to be amended so it can include finance and accounting?
Okay, let's take it one after the other.
One after the other. Okay.
The first one, I spoke about advocacy under the last competency area of the IIA's competency framework. If you look at the IPPF very well, one of the mistakes that CIA chief audit executives used to make is they do things alone. They develop the charter alone, they take it up to the management and they go to just approve, and that's all. When there was an opportunity for us to take them through what is important, we had an opportunity, because if you look at the standard 1100 on the internal audit charter, there are some areas that the IPPF says you will have to communicate and work with the management and talk to them and educate them on what you are doing and the meaning of definition of internal auditing. So many of us don't use the IPPF. There are a lot of ways that are already written down for more than 10 or 20 years that we should have used in advocating for our helping our stakeholders to understand what we are doing or what is expected of us. So I will still take this back to the basics, because if we learn the standard very well and we use the implementation guidance very well in implementing the standard, for example, standard 1000, you will discover that some of the things you're going to be doing in standard 1000 is in collaboration with your management and the board. And that was the opportunity, that will be the opportunity for you to educate them on the expectation on what internal audit is and what internal audit is not. So I will say many of us did not learn internal auditing by the standard or by the IPPF. So we missed the opportunity to talk to them on the expectations on what is internal audit charter, on the purpose, authority, responsibilities, what is expected of the responsibilities of the internal audit, the board of directors and the senior management in terms of our responsibilities, the nature of our work and purpose of internal audit within the organization. Those are the areas where we should have spoken to them and we'll have educated them and correct some of those misinformation that they have. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you very much. And the next question, that's from Zolani Mabuya from South Africa. And is that, in your own experience, do you think the internal auditing definition needs to be amended so it can include finance and accounting?
I don't think so. Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, that internal auditing is broader than finance and accounting. And the definition will not be limited to finance and accounting. And what you should understand there is that now, governance, risk management and control, all of them have contributions to accounting and finance. For example, you remember the areas that we concern most internal auditing auditors about accounting is internal control over financial reporting. Are we together? Some of the areas of accounting and finance that will interest most internal auditors will be cost effectiveness of operations, which has accounting relationship or finance relationship. So risk management and governance and control are beyond accounting and finance. So it is very important that we concentrate on the aspect of organization that cut across every aspect of activities. And the activities can include operations, accounting, and finance. And you will find governance, risk management, and control in those areas. That is the interest of internal auditors. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Let me take the next. Any more questions?
I have a question. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Zikana. My name is Zikana. I am in Nigeria.
Nigeria, okay.
Yes, my question is, I want to thank the presenter for a beautiful presentation. In fact, I also had some of these challenges when I took up the role. First, my management did not understand the role of the internal auditor. So it took me some time, because first they were saying I was not performing, then later they brought somebody for training, and the person said, no, I don't have issues. It is the people that don't understand what I'm doing. So I had that issue too. But I raised my hand because I want the presenter to take us through again today's role of the internal auditor.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much. today's role of internal auditors can just be linked to the purpose, nature, and authority or responsibility of internal auditing in an organization, regardless of the activities that we all have in mind to audit. Our focus areas are on governance, evaluating and improving governance, risk management, and control. However, our challenge is that most internal auditors are also responsible for risk management and internal control or compliance in some organization. And this will take us back to the basis of internal auditing, because if we have a responsibility to evaluate something so that it can be improved, to advise them on the significant risk that is facing the organization or the significant risk facing the strategic direction of the organization, then we are going to be seen as adding value. But when we are the one assessing and evaluating it, then we are also responsible for managing the risk. That is where one of the areas that I said the basics are missing. We can't be evaluating it, or we can't be responsible for it and also be evaluating without the issue of impairment to independence. So our focus now today should be on governance. Has always been an issue. Remember, if you have poor governance, I will tell you that you surely have poor risk management and control, because there are three things: governance, risk management, and control relate together. Even the common initiatives of governance as risk management and control inside it. So if you help your organization to improve governance, for example, ethical behaviors, ethics and things like that, or culture within the organization, evaluating it, and pointing the direction of showing the stakeholders that we have issues here based on expectation or business norms from the society, then we are also working. But if we don't help to improve governance, but we help in improving risk management, that improvement in risk management will also affect governance and control. So improvement to governance or risk management or internal control will help you in improving any of the two, whichever one. But the most important thing that you must take out here is governance, risk management, and control as their activities inside different organization activities, including operations. For example, now we are shouting ESG, ESG. But we have COSO 2013, COSO Integrated Framework. Non-financial reporting has been part of COSO since how many years? And these ESG that internal auditors are now concerned about, majority of what is in ESG is in that non-financial reporting. And that non-financial reporting has to do with operation. But COSO is talking about control related to non-financial aspects of the organization. So all of these things works together. They connect. That once you focus on governance, risk management, and control, even in your internal or in your audit planning, then that's the better way to go, because you want to audit at the speed of risk. And governance issue can create significant risk for the organization. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you. And I'm taking the last set of questions from the chat box. And
I'm also interested in one question here on the chat.
Okay.
I think I need to talk about that before, so that you will. I don't know whether it's one of the questions you are considering, but I saw one that I'm.
Okay, maybe you can talk to that. Yes.
Okay. Why do you think the ethical guidance of IIA are rated 4 out of 5
Yes.
on average
That's
instead of 7 out of. I do not know why the measurement is the maximum is 5 because just a minute, I need to be sure of this rating before. I don't want to mislead any one of us. I have the documents. The scale is 5. So what I said there, the scale, the total is 5. What I said there is that all of them together, the 7 basic knowledge areas, got 5 or more. So it is not that ethical area of the knowledge area got just 5. It could be 4.4. It could be 4.5. It could be 4.6. So we are just saying on an average, based on the scale of 1 to 5 that they use, not 1 to 7. It's the scale is 1 to 5. Everything there scored 5, at least above 5, 4 and above. Thank you very much. So I just want to correct that. Something. I hope you got that.
All right.
So over to you, Richard.
So thank you very much. It is time, and I think it's been a wonderful presentation. Where are you in a trajectory of the evolution? That's my personal question to all of us attending this program. That
yeah, I like that.
Where are you? These are questions that I don't expect you to answer here, each one of us attending this webinar. Accounting-oriented or gardener of governance. Let's take note, assess ourselves, and know that it is very important that we should be practicing the modern internal auditing and not the ancient one. You mentioned about 2 very important resources that are required: skills and technology in our field of technology. He didn't talk about so many things so that you forget, but only these 2, which are very, very important for our internal audit practice. And we also have to go to the right source for information on internal auditing, not search anywhere, but let's go to the right source, which is the institute, so far as internal auditing is concerned. The importance of certification need not to be overemphasized. We all have to write the exam. I believe our appetite has been whet this afternoon to take the CIA exam. Then the competency level. It is not only required for writing exams, but it's required for our internal audit practice. And then I may end by emphasizing on the use of the IPPF. It is like a Christian who does not have a Bible. If you are practicing internal auditor and you don't always refer to the IPPF, you miss the way. So thank you very much. It's been a wonderful presentation. But as I said from the beginning, all these are in preparation towards AFIA, upcoming AFIA. If you want to enjoy more, then prepare and join us in Accra in May this year for the AFIA conference. I hope you can see my screen. If yes, will somebody say yes?
Yes.
Good. So yes. May we are all coming to Ghana to enjoy or celebrate the AFIA. So just a few slides information for us. The AFIA, we have 3 main events. We have the governance forum, which will be organized concurrently with the AFIA University. That's 22nd to 23rd May. Then 24th to 26th, we have the conference, AFIA conference itself. And during evenings, we have optional tours. Then at the end of the conference, we have tour outside Accra, Cape Coast, as well as Dodi Island. You enjoy the Dodi cruise. Those of you who have cruised on the Lake Victoria, this one is the largest man-made lake in the world, which you can experience when you come to Ghana. For the governance conference, the fee, early bird 300 Ghana cedis, which is ending very soon, only next week. March 31st is ended.
Hello, Richard. It's
Yes.
dollars, not 300 cedis.
Oh, sorry. 300 US dollars. 300 US dollars. Late registration, 350 US dollars. The deadline, we have only 1 week to go. Rush and save cost. And the IIA University, which focus on internal audit practitioners, we have two main topics: quality assessment and data analytics. $120 for members and non-members $150. And the conference itself, May 24th to 26th, as I indicated. Members $500, non-members $600 if you are paying before 31st, and then beyond 31st, $550 and $650 for non-members. We have a lot of speakers from across the globe. We've not listed them here. When you look at the program, you see that we have the global chair and the global president coming. We have IIA chair being there. We have coming from Australia. We have so many speakers from South African countries as well. And the conference hotels are available. Movenpick, Alisa, and then Accra City Hotel buses will be provided. We also have other hotels which are very reasonable around the conference site: Airport View Hotel, Ebano, Central Hotel, and La Villa Hotel. But these ones, buses will not be provided, but the rates are very reasonable. There will be a gala night where you really enjoy the evening in Ghana with us. Bring your dancing shoes, prepare to come and celebrate. If you are coming with your spouses and other people, there is an opportunity to enjoy with them. The Accra night tours are very, very superb. You can enjoy Accra night tours, city tour. You'll see how Accra looks in the night, going round, and also going to the club to enjoy. So you are all welcome. I mentioned Dodi Island. I mentioned the Cape Coast store, which are it's like you cannot come and just work and learn without happiness. It's an opportunity for you to enjoy Ghana. In terms of visa requirements, ECOWAS passport holders do not require visa to enter Ghana. Other delegates from non-ECOWAS countries can obtain visa at 150 Ghana cedis. But these countries, Kenya, Lesotho, Namibia, Singapore, Tanzania, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Seychelles, Mauritius, do not pay anything in acquiring visa in Ghana. You need to provide your copy of biodata page, selected place of lodging, place of embarkation to Ghana, date of arrival, and the name of the airline. This is the information required to enable us to process your invitation letter. Information required in a passport: first name, surname, date of birth, passport number, place of issue, date of expiry, and nationality. Then if you need any information, you can contact us for more information. Office at iiaghana.org. You can also contact the IIA Secretariat and you'll get more information on the conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, just a brief on IIA, and I believe you have budgeted and you are prepared to pay before the next week that you can save costs. So if there are any questions on the conference, I'm available. The president of IIA Ghana is also available with us. We are prepared to answer any questions. And AFIA Secretariat Kafaso is around. So thank you. If there are any questions, I'm ready to take them.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Noise from Zambia. I have a question regarding the conference dates. So I received an invitation later, but it says 22nd to 26th. But then on your presentation, you say 22nd to 27th of May.
Okay. I mentioned 27th because on the 27th, there are optional tours. The 26th is more of the technical presentation, the conference, but on the 27th, optional tours available.
Oh, I feel for planning purposes, I think 27 should be included as well. Whether optionally other people will attend those activities or not. But for us as we plan, 27 should be included because 26, it means we are leaving on the 27th. So we won't be able to have an option to participate in the activities of the 27th.
Very important point. Well noted. We'll take note of that and communicate.
Thank you.
Right. Any more questions?
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Good afternoon, and please thank you for the presentation and also your feedback on the conference. I am Eunice Yemo. I'm also calling from Ghana. I just wanted to ask whether the timeline for the early bird paying, there's a possibility of reviewing slightly so that some of us can fit in, or it is just done and it's closed. Thank you. Over.
All right. Thank you very much. The deadline was 15th of this March, and following appeal from members, that's last 2 weeks. During the presentation, we extended and added 2 more weeks. It may be difficult to extend it further. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, thank you. Just a follow-up question to that.
Yes.
With the 2 weeks, so now what was the new deadline? Maybe some along the line we missed that information. So
yeah, the new deadline is 31st March.
Okay.
Which is a week from, barely about a week from today.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
It's more than a week anyway. So let's work towards that and you can save cost.
Thank you.
Right. Any more questions? If there are no more questions, I believe it's been a very good day, very wonderful presentation. And if you want more, this is just the beginning and preparatory. Come to Ghana, come to AFIA 2023, and you will enjoy more of that. All the areas that our presenter mentioned in terms of technical expertise, competencies that we require as internal auditors. The conference covered that. And then you go back with much more information and knowledge to enable you to do your work better than before, and you will not regret coming. So on this note, I want to find out if there is any information from AFIA Secretariat or President IIA Ghana, if there is any information. Madam Harriet.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Richard. And thank you, Awolaja, for that insightful presentation. He's coming to Ghana to speak. So if you want to enjoy more, please make sure you make it to Ghana. Come May, the last week of May. And we are ready to host all of you. You don't have to be told that, oh, as for the conference, it was this, it was that. You have to experience it yourself. So I would like to welcome all of you to Ghana the last week of May. So make sure you are here in person and have a feel of our Ghanaian hospitality. Thank you so very much. And thank you to our speaker for such an insightful presentation. Thank you. See you all next week for another one.
So Madam President confided in me that when you come and see her personally, she has a special presentation, a special gift for you. So when you come to Ghana, see her and you get your package. And on this note, next week there will be another presentation. We'll communicate with you. We'll share the information with you, the presenter and the topic. So check your mail and you get the response. This presentation will be shared with you, and let's keep attending. Every week there will be a presentation. Put it in your calendar at the same time, 12 to 1:30 GMT. And thank you very much. So on this note, we want to say goodbye to you all, and thank you for attending this webinar. Okay. So bye-bye to everyone.